Awesome. Hi, everyone. This is Emma. I am talking to you all about the Access Science Connected events that are happening during April. They are a signature event series for Citizen Science Month. So we are taking the time to have a final info session before we hit April. So if you're watching this now, hopefully this covers all your questions. And if not, you can always email the SciStarter team at info@scistarter.org. And that'll be written on a slide somewhere too. So you can always reach out to us that way. I will go ahead and get us started, but my friends who are in the Zoom with me, if you have any questions as they come, feel free to drop them in the chat, especially if I say something odd and you want to clarify what I mean. Happy to answer that question as well. Oh yeah, so soon. Right now it's 2 weeks away, so we very scared. No, I'm kidding. All right, so we will cover the basics. So if any of you are super veterans of citizen science and SciStarter, I apologize. You might be waiting for, I don't know, maybe a max of 10 minutes of basics, probably less, and I'll include the new calendar. So there is some new stuff, but apologies, you're going to hear some repeats that you could probably present on your own. We'll also talk about Act Science Connected, the event series, and then we'll have hopefully some time for a project demo for whichever of the projects we want to test out before we hit April. I highly recommend that you all try out the projects that are featured in the Access Science Connected event series in advance. They are all relatively easy to get a handle of. Some of them are just content-based difficult, as in looking at comets, you have to kind of understand what you're looking at, and they can be tricky. So be aware that all of them are accessible and you can do them. I say accessible, acknowledging that they also require visual cues. However, they should be easy to access in general. All right, cool. All right, so now for the basics. For anyone who is new, before I actually jump in, I do want to know who is new. So I'm going to push forward real fast and then backtrack. But is any of you on this call very new to citizen science? Can you give me your familiarity? Hi, welcome, Susan. Give me your familiarity. So you can just tell me what that means for you, or you can write in a number from 1 to 5. What does this mean for you? Do you facilitate things already? You're a superstar, you're Dunzo, you're basically Jim. You could put a 5. Or are you a 1? I'm entirely new. 2 might be that you have participated in citizen science a little bit, but you're not like well versed in the area. 3 is you're an active participant. 4 is you've dabbled in facilitating and sharing it with others. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of numbers. This is great. Taught citizen science classes. Cool. Nice, Kelly. Where do you teach classes? Is it what type of grade level? K-12 or are we talking college?
So when I did it, it was kind of 6-8, but we're gonna
Oh,
be doing this as part of a science museum where I'm thinking we're gonna be getting 10 and unders.
oh, okay. That sounds great. Are you signed up for the snapshot with or the Earth Day one?
Absolutely, that's the one I think I'm
Okay,
most excited about.
perfect. Okay, sounds great. Awesome. Okay, let's see. 5-bit new to SciStarter. Awesome. Hi, Jennifer. I know you. Awesome. Okay, these are great. I'm loving how many various people are in the room. This is great. Um, Feel free to write in anything contextually if you would like to share how you've been involved in the past too, so you can hear from other peers just in case they have something to relate to. So to give you the broad definition that we use at SciStarter, we call citizen science as the global citizen science term. There are many synonyms that you are likely very aware of that you use on a daily basis, and you are welcome to use whichever one you would like to. The biggest idea, though, is that this is all about collaborating with real researchers and scientists to accelerate research and to collaborate on projects together from anywhere, and to be anyone being a part of it. So this is these synonyms I have at the bottom here are pretty common. If you use community science or neighborhood science, that might also mean that you're involved in projects that don't have a scientist or researcher until the data has been collected, and then you might bring in a researcher later. So there are some variations, but for the most part, we're all here for similar reasons of wanting to advance science in meaningful ways, especially in our communities. And that's not just about learning about it, but being a real part of the process. Okay, cool. All right, and I just showed that one, so I'll move on. If you're new to SciStarter in general, we highly recommend you create a SciStarter account so that you can start saving projects and really get all the memos about events like this and other things. And so we pride ourselves on being like a go-to resource for facilitators, for volunteers, for researchers even. Like the data that we collect as a part of the industry of citizen science helps us actually do real research on what citizen science is, how it works, and how to make the field better. And so if you would like to engage in that community, you definitely should have an account. I said some of these things already, so I'll breeze through them, but you can find and save projects, you can plan events and promote your events from within SciStarter. There are free training modules that I'll also mention later. You can create lists, which is one of my favorite tools. I have like 50 lists, which makes my dashboard take forever to load. But it just means that I have a bunch of different topical lists of projects to share with people. Like I have a Shark Day list. I have a um, oh gosh, what is it called? The built environment accessibility list. It kind of ranges all over the place. So if that's something important to a part of your community that you want to supply a group of projects to, I'm here for that and here to support. As a project or as a volunteer through SciStarter, you can also track your impact through contributions. So for Zooniverse projects, like we'll be talking about later, you can sign up to also have affiliation tracking. And so that means all of your contributions to Zooniverse projects that are also on SciStarter as affiliates will be tracked on your dashboard on SciStarter. So you can see how often you participate and track your like volunteer hours, essentially. And then engage with your communities in real research. We're a resource to make it possible to do that. The number one training that I always recommend is the Foundations of Citizen Science. Wouldn't it be cool to get to 100,000 tutorials complete by the end of April? That would be incredible. I would love to have that actually. We should make that a goal. This is the basics. This is what everyone should take as a way to like engage with what is citizen science and how does it work. So if you're trying to train anyone about this, you could even use our slide deck associated with this to just help people understand it. And you get a nice badge with a little robot on it, which is always nice. All right. For any of you who are part of organizations that work in communities, such as libraries or museums, community centers, senior centers, you name it, we also have a citizen and community science library network, which is a misnomer for one, because it was originally called the National Network. It is now international. And it's also not just libraries. We even have like science centers on the list. So if you belong to an organization that does citizen science as a part of its programming, you should absolutely sign up for this network so you can stay in touch with everything that we provide to the facilitator community. And Roland's been dropping these links in the chat for you as well. And this link on the screen will work. All right. I am running through this really fast. I will pause if there are questions in the chat, so feel free to tell me to slow down. Okay. If we're on the map, then we are in the network, right? Yes, yeah. So if you've gone onto the page to actually find that is scistarter.org/library. And then on the left-hand side, we'll be able to see find a library. And if you're on here, like if you can zoom in and find yourself, that means you are in the network. I will note though that if you're not getting our emails, you should still sign up again because we won't duplicate your location, but we will add you to the newsletter list so you'll keep in the know. Okay, cool. Mhm. Awesome. All right. So what we're here today to discuss is a signature event series of Citizen Science Month. But before we jump to that, just to make sure we understand what Citizen Science Month is that it is a celebration month long where we're just trying to amplify all this incredible work being done. We want to amplify you as the project or the event leaders, excuse me. We want to amplify the people who are the volunteers that you work with. The outcomes of the science. If we actually discover things, it should be well noted and talked about and celebrated. And so we want to make sure that everyone can participate and that everyone has the visibility that they want as a part of this. And so in 2025's Citizen Science Month, for comparison here, we had 500,000 volunteers. We want to double that. That would be great. And we've had over 1,000 projects and events impacted in positive ways. And then last year, we actually surpassed 3 million acts of science. You'll notice that this year we we limited it to 2.5 as our goal. And really that is more thematic. I highly expect us to surpass 3 million again. However, the Citizen Science Month goal of 2.5 million acts of science is aligned instead with our America 250 celebration in the US. So for those of you who are international, you can build your own goals. You can do whatever you'd like. You can do that from within inside the US as well. We are trying to work with the European Citizen Science Association, for example, to determine their goal for the month. And that might look different from 2.5 million. It might be related to the amount of people you engage instead. So, but in the US, we're aiming specifically for 2.5 million. And we will definitely surpass it. I'm pretty certain, but it's only possible with you all. So thank you for being a part of it. And so every contribution beyond the Act Science Connected events will count. So if you do Coco Raws, there's no specific event for Coco Raws that we're hosting. But every day, if you do a Coco Raws measurement or you participate in the rain gauge rally, which I'll mention again momentarily, that is absolutely participating as acts of science, and you can submit those and report those. All right, so what counts as an act of science? I already mentioned it, but here's some more examples. So if you have library kits available to you as well, you can sign those out to folks. Those numbers for lending them out through the library program, all of those numbers count for acts of science, by the way. So I'd love to have those reports put into our Citizen Science Month reporting tool as well. If you have questions about how we're reporting all this, by the way, I will talk about that today because I think that's pretty important. All right, before I jump into this, though, I did want to show you all the calendar since it's so new. So I'm going to go ahead and visit just the regular SciStarter page briefly, and then get rid of all this stuff. And just type scistarter.org/calendar. And it will show up like this. This page, just as a heads up, this will be changing. It'll look more like a blog post later, so you can download them individually, just to make it a little bit more user-friendly. But for now, it's still on this page. So just as a FYI on how to use it, if you can see my cursor, it's an arrow, and I click there to go back to March. And then there's a click here to print. I go here, it shows you a full print without the marking there, obviously, the watermark. And then you'd print it from here. For the Citizen Science Month one, it's not on there yet. So this is the first version of it. It'll be available to print very soon, but we're cleaning up some of the last minute pieces and making sure we covered everything. So some of you mentioned Kokoraz earlier. I did want to, I mentioned it because of the rain gauge rally. They used to have their rain gauge rally as a part of March Madness, and now it is a part of Citizen Science Month. So that means if you get more people involved in Citizen Science, or excuse me, get more people involved in Kokoraz, all of that recruitment counts towards both Citizen Science Month and your state count for the rain gauge rally. So if you are involved, that is a big part of Citizen Science Month. All right. Are there any questions about the calendar? It's a lot, so okay, awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, if there's no questions, then I will move us forward. The image we were on just then has all the Act Science connected events. I've also labeled them here as signature events. So you'll be able to see them in the calendar as well. Awesome. Okay, so this is only one way to participate. Like I mentioned before, Kogoraz counts, Great Sunflower Project counts, some non-technology focused ones absolutely count, and I'll mention a couple more of those too after I give you these, a little breakdown of each of these. But everything does count. These special events are about doing a guided meet and greet essentially with the scientist and doing a 2-hour program of like doing as much as you possibly can in these projects to just rack up the acts of science. That said, it is like a gathering together event too. So what we want for all of you who are participating in this is to host a gathering and make it a social event. So you might not be paying attention for 2 hours straight. That's a lot of time. And so if you would like to look at all the resources for that, that we'll cover and actually look at together through a tour, roll and drop the link in the chat if you want to run ahead and look at it now. But here are these events. So the first one we're doing is on April 2nd, first week of April. We'll be looking at clouds on Mars. So if you are interested in looking at NASA orbiter diagrams and infrared images, I believe it is, to find clouds. That's what we'll be doing that day. April 10th, we're doing transcriptions. So if you were if you're interested in learning how to translate handwritten cursive into digital searchable material, this is a big one. It's also from the Freedmen's Bureau records. And so you'll be looking at a piece of American history that we just simply don't have enough data on. Which is post-emancipation, looking at like wedding certificates and medical records to basically help genealogists, family members be able to search through all the data from the post-emancipation restoration era is what it's called. Awesome. Yeah. And then on the 16th, we're doing game night for science. We'll be playing the game Stall Catchers, which is a very easy one for the young ones. So hopefully it gathers let's I think middle schoolers are the best at it. So if they're a little bit less lower than middle school in age, they're probably still able to get it, but it's probably easiest for middle school. This is one where we're going to be clicking a yes or a no button essentially for stalled or not stalled. So a capillary in the brain has blood flow going through it, but if it's stalled, that means there's a clot. And so we'll be looking for those clots in these itty bitty images of mouse brains. Not morbid at all. It's black and white, by the way, just in case anyone is worried about that. And then on April 22nd, we'll be doing the Earth Day event, Animal Spotathon. So we'll be looking at camera trap images and trail cameras to see basically photo bombs by animals. So it should be a very fun time. Stall catchers is the one my middle schoolers like the most. That's awesome. Okay, great. Sweet. And then on the last one, April 29th, we're going to be looking at comets in the night sky. So all these images are from a telescope on planet Earth, the Rubin Observatory. And we'll be looking for comets to help us understand the origin of water on Earth, along with all kinds of other things like the evolution of galaxies. So there's a lot to be known from that one. One simple skill, and the project leaders will tell us more about like what the actual impact will be for all of these. But yeah, that's the long and the short of everything that is happening for these connected events, or like the topics anyway. And that's the main idea of why we're here. However, as I mentioned before, every single one of the projects on SciStarter counts as a way to do acts of science throughout the month of April. And so if you are looking for things that are a little less intense on the technology aspect, because all of these are pretty heavy on technology, then there are plenty of projects. So if you want to look at projects via the SciStarter Finder, I'm using SciStarter to go, where's my cursor? There it is. Click on projects at the top right, and then I can go in here to find projects that are entirely outside, for example, or outside, no, not outside, exclusively outdoors. That's what I'm looking for. And so the ones that come up are things like the community tree map. Oh, I'm apparently in Tempe. That's not true. I'm calling in from Washington, D.C. That's not my location. There we go. City nature challenging is included here. The public health conferences that involve citizen science, Leave No Trash University Challenge, or the Volunteer Challenge. So you don't have to be a part of a university to be a part of this, but it's a cleaning up your neighborhood type of thing, and all kinds. So I can go to a random page. A lot of folks are doing the comets one, but yeah, that shouldn't be in the outdoors one. So you can scroll through and see. I think it's because I have events on here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I can literally find little piggies outside. What are they called? Feral swine, and report them. So there are a bunch more that are not necessarily staring at a screen. So if you're looking for something else, there are definitely other options. However, we are fully expecting these Act Science Connected events to be social, and so they won't necessarily be doing that work the whole time. Okay, I see some questions in the chat, so I'm going to pause for a moment. Oh, awesome. I'm glad, my friend, about the Spotathon. Yes, I'm hoping that'll be a really fun one. I mean, all of them are going to be fun, but I am very excited for the animal one. Will the sessions be taped? Yes. So I might need to start a little late with my group. I'm wondering if we will miss the instructions. Yeah. Okay. I will talk more about this, Alicia, but the long and the short of it is that yes, we will tape them. They'll be recorded just like a webinar on here. However, it takes processing time for us to get the recording back to you. So on the day of, you probably won't get the recordings. We'll try our best, but I don't think the recordings will be available until the following day. So part of why I'm mentioning that is because even though we are taping them, the instructions to get involved and to follow up with what you might have missed is actually going to be available via a live blog post that we'll be editing and updating as we do the event. There will be a blog post initially that'll just have the agenda and the listed instructions that you need to get started. And then as we go through the event, things might be updated in real time, and you can follow along with the things that you might have missed. So hopefully that'll help. How do you access the blog post? That's a great question. They do not have links yet, but they will be available to everyone who joins the event and everyone who registered. So I'll send it via the registration, and they'll also be sent out during the event. So you can go back if you join. We'll send it out like every 10 minutes or something, or anytime anyone asks the question of what did I miss? So prepare your copy and paste of that question if you need it. All right. Cool. All right. And I will get further into that as well shortly. Okay, great. All right. Speaking of blog posts, by the way, not that this is going to look exactly the same, but for today's event, we do already have a blog post version of the follow-up, which we send out after these events. So if you want to see what our blog posts look like, Roland, would you mind dropping that in the chat? I can't exit my. Oh, actually, you know what? I have it here. Here it is. This is what it looks like. So it'll look pretty similar to this on the left-hand side, but it will be segmented out into the agenda and the other pieces across the event. Thank you for sending that in the chat. Sweet. Does every participant at the live event need a laptop to join, even if you're projecting it all? Yeah, so let me go back. There we go. Yeah, so as an event host, you do need something projecting the event, because not everyone will be signed into Zoom, or at least we don't expect people to be signed into Zoom during in-person events. There will be one person zooming in, which is the event host, showing it to everyone. Everyone else should have a device of some kind, hopefully like a laptop or a tablet to be able to do the actual project. I specify laptop and tablet because they are the easiest methods for participating in the projects. Using a phone will work. It's just a lot harder, and tiny. So it just depends on the user. So yes, you will each need devices. Everyone in the room will need devices. However, the actual Zoom part of it is up to the event host. So you all need to be registered for that Zoom event. Citizen Science Month corresponds. Oh, great. Yeah. Canal cleanup. Yeah. If you have other events happening, especially because it's Earth Month and Earth Day, Earth Week, whatever you celebrate. Yeah, do it in the name of Earth Month. Awesome. Okay. Looks like I caught all the questions for now. All right. And I will come back to answer more of those, by the way. If we are doing the event here, can people also zoom in from home? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll show you that page to give you the sign up links. Yes. Okay, Denise, I'm going to answer that in like 5 seconds, so I'm going to hold off. Okay, so what we provide. So for these events, if you are hosting an in-person satellite event, that means you are zooming in on behalf of a group of people sitting together. We are providing most of the stuff that you need. So really, you already have the virtual event prepared for you. You just have to make sure that you signed up on Zoom. I'll show you where to do that. We provide professional development, so tutorials like the foundations training, guides, which I'll show you actually on the next screen, our guide for this. Webinars like this one, the info sessions, and then we also have event toolkits, which are a set of pages on SciStarter with a whole list of things for each individual event, because they are on different topics. So it's printable instructions for each type of event. There's also posters and promotional tools, newsletter blurbs, you name it. We thought of as much as we could feasibly make. And if you're looking for something else, there's a likelihood I could probably make it for you. You just have to email me. We also have facilitation advice and additional printable resources. So if there are any technological issues, we will be able to address them with giving you preset material that you can print out in advance to kind of cover the time. For example, like we have poll questions, like fun ones like, what's the most challenging about this? What do you like most about it? Those types of things. We'll prep questions for you. So if you do get disconnected at any point, you have some other activities as well. And not just poll questions. We also have like trivia and like would you rather games related to the topic. It's going to be a big blast. And so we'll have some of those things printed in advance for you to be able to do independently if there are any issues with continuing through the full 2 hours. We also are sending a big email to everyone based on events that lists out the most important resources and last steps. So if you are registered for the Cloud Spotting on Mars event on April 2nd, you should have received an email from me already. If you did not, that might be because you registered within the last 4 days, or you need to get in contact with me if that's the case, or it might be in spam. So we are trying our best to give things out to you, but the key things there are that we need you to have registered on Zoom so we can contact you, and or add the well, and in this case, and add your event to SciStarter as an event in our database. That makes sure that will ensure that we send you everything we have to prepare you. Now, I'm gonna move beyond the guide briefly. Hold on, actually, I'm gonna pause my screen share so it stays there for a moment. Um, okay, so I'm gonna actually skip us to this slide briefly because um, I just want to reiterate, and I'll mention this at the end too, but the next two steps, if you have not done this already, please, please, please register on Zoom for the events that you plan to host and the ones you plan to be a part of too. And then secondly, if it is a legitimate in-person event, you need to add it to SciStarter to make sure it's included within that Citizen Science Month count. And so those are the two main things after today that you need to make sure are done, and then we can send a lot of stuff to you. Now, as far as registering for the Zoom events, I added a link here, and we'll actually take a tour of the resources right now, so that you know where to go. Oops, meant to make it bigger, not smaller. There we go. Okay. Um, all right. And there was a question that I didn't answer within 5 seconds, so I'll answer it briefly. But will the starting time of the event allow people to sign up and create an account? Yes. For the first 10 minutes, we're doing the process of intro from the project leader, and here's how the project works, and let's sign you up. So within the first 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be on your own and doing the project. Or rather, you'll be ready to do the project. Because we're sending the blog post in advance and we have printable instructions ahead of time, you could also have people start working on it before we even start the event if you'd like. But for those of you who want the guided introduction, you want to talk about what the science actually is, that's where staying in tune with what we're doing verbally on the website is where you'll be paying attention to. So this is the public site for Citizen Science, or Ask Science Connected, excuse me. It includes a join from home button that has register buttons. This is where you'll register. You can also go to interested in hosting a connected event. That's great. Go to this link. And you can also register on Zoom for any of these. So if you have not already, please register. And Roland, yeah, thank you for that doing that. Roland added the link to the public view page and then also the add an event page on SciStarter. So you'll have those easy access. Now you'll notice at the top here, it has three tabs. We have event dates and times, event resources, and FAQ. So for example, I imagine many of you are thinking, it's a 2-hour event. I don't know if they'll be able to stay that long. Like, that's a long time. That's okay. Zoom in at the start is probably the best case scenario. So if you are able and available at least the first 30 minutes, that's the best, because that means that you can learn about the project and how to get started and then stay as long as you'd like. And if there's a lull or you find that people are being social and just working, then you might not be on the Zoom anymore. And then you can continue participating and your guests continue participating throughout the rest of April as well. And all of it will be part of 2.5 million Access Science. I'll explain the recording piece or the reporting piece too. All right. And then someone did ask about facilitating. You are the facilitator of your event, your in-person event, so you can bring your own creative flair of however you want it to look like. But as far as the event, like the project and understanding the science, you don't need to worry about any of that. We will cover all our bases there. We'll teach you how to do the project, and the project leader will be able to explain the science behind it, answer questions about science that are hopefully relevant, but if there are irrelevant ones that are still about space, for example, for the Cloud Spotting on Mars event, we can hopefully still answer some of those questions too. All right. Ooh, good question, Amanda. Okay, yeah, so if I go to event resources, I'm going to visit the event toolkit for what's the weather like on Mars. So you all can see that. And to answer the question that Amanda just dropped in the chat. So there are printable instructions ahead of time. Facilitation support includes participant setup instructions. You'll notice it includes create a SciStarter login and sign up for a Zooniverse login, and return to SciStarter to add your Zooniverse username to your SciStarter settings. These are the steps required in order for it to automatically count towards 2.5 million acts of science. So we really, really, really hope that this is easy to facilitate and makes sense. If you get questions or get any I mean, animosity is definitely too extreme of a word, but if there are any issues with guests who don't want to do these things, that's okay. You do not need to push it. Um, we want them to do this so that we can actually count it towards 2.5 million. However, if there are issues doing so, Zooniverse is one of the infrequent projects in which you can participate as a guest user. And so I, um, to avoid having too many tabs open for this, I'm not going to open it right now. But on Zooniverse, if you're not logged in, you'll be able to see continue as guest essentially, or it'll let you get to the project without doing that. However, because it does not, I mean, we will facilitate this too, so it won't take any extra time because we're already going to do it together. But if you're worried about people not wanting to do it, that's my answer for that. Um, as far as making sure that your participation from your guests are a part of 2.5 million acts of science, that this is what does it automatically. There are also two other ways that we'll be reporting otherwise. So if folks have a Zooniverse account but have not created a SciStarter account, we'll be using a group on SciStarter to basically use it as like a leaderboard. So I'll pull the data from that as well, um, to show how impressive our one event was, right? From those 2 hours, we'll be able to see a leaderboard of just how much of an impact those 2 hours made. And then after that, there is also something that should be on this shortly too. We just opened it up to the public. This lovely button up here that's on every page now, if you click it, it goes straight to the Citizen Science One homepage. And as a part of this, you'll see a new button that says Report Your Acts in the corner. And so if you would like to test this out for yourself now, or if you want to do it in practice for a different event that you're doing beyond Act Science Connected, it's now available for you to see. So if you're trying to see what it looks like as an individual, you can click here. If you are an event host, it'll look like this. So as I'm logged out, affiliates will not count unless I'm logged in, or rather, as I'm affiliated, if I have affiliation tracking for SciStarter affiliate projects turned on, those will count independently. But if I do, let's say, a non-affiliate, why can't I think of anything right now? eBird. If I'm doing eBird, for example, eBird's not a SciStarter affiliate, unfortunately. We don't have a digital link between their app and our website. So if I do eBird, I would have to explain in less than 10 words. I identified birds with eBird. I would say there were 10 of us, and I estimate 600 acts of science because we each identified 60 birds, which is incredible. And then you can list names if you'd like, and then you report, which you can't click until April 1st, by the way, but it is done. Hello. Now, I'm pretty sure I actually have that in my presentation too. So before I get too far away from it, oh, I guess I removed it. That's good then when we had to over it. Um, okay, let me move that down. Are there any questions about reporting? If you have folks who do not create a SciStarter account, by the way, they can come in here and report what they did during that event. So if they're sitting with you and doing cloud spotting on Mars but don't have an account, they can hit report their acts. They can add their email. We don't record it, by the way. We just validate it so that we make sure we don't duplicate anyone's affiliate data. So it's a real number. And then they'd say found clouds on Mars in Martian atmosphere, just to be fancy about it. And then they'd say they can find out on their Zooniverse account how many they did. Let's say they do 40 within the 2 hours. And then they can specify it was cloud spotting on Mars as the project. Or they could specify the event itself. Check all of my X again. I will go back and redo. Okay. Sounds good, Angie. Let me know if you need help. Okay. And then they can report it as well. So if you don't have an account on SciStar, you can still do this reporting, which helps us get to that 2.5 million. And for non-affiliates, we definitely need it. So if you notice yourself doing a different project and want to report it, now you know how. Hooray. Okay. All right. So we were looking at the the different resources. So I did want to just jump back to here really fast. We have an intro video, so if you want to show this to folks ahead of time or like add it to um, your web page that has the event listed, you're welcome to do that. We also have instructions for technology, and if you need support on that, just let us know if we can help in any way. Um, and we have printable things like this instruction piece. So you'll have half sheets to put on tables for people to know how to sign up. We even have a video instruction. We've tried our best to like kind of spread the love on what is like what instructions to provide. So if there's something missing, we will do our best to help you. Um, we even have supplemental project resources. So if you need some more stuff about Mars because you've got like some 10-year-olds in the room who really want to use virtual reality, we got you. You got it handled. And then posters, of course, newsletter messaging, sample event graphics. We also have new take-home flyers. If you were in our previous info sessions, we did make an update recently. So the new ones include a general description for setup, but we do have that one code to be able to scan to see all the instructions, so you're good there. But the bottom of it actually relates to how to do the project. So this is really helpful for folks leaving your event and going home to just continue participating, assuming they did a lot of the sign up process with you already. So they can just go back and see, how do I actually find a cloud? And they're going to be looking for two distinct legs and the peak in these scans. So that's what it will look like. Okay, cool. Backing up a little bit. All right. Another item that we added, I highlighted guides because I really wanted to show you all that there is a guide on the, oh, sorry, question about that. Do you have those sheets for every connected event? Yes. Yeah, the take-home sheets are for every event. I think I still need to update the last two. So I'll do that very soon, if not by the end of today. Actually, let me make sure I do that. Take-home sheets. And there are printable instructions for when they walk in the room too for every event already. There is a host guide. So if you're looking for a way to kind of visualize what this might look like, this is our guide for that. So the definition of what it is, what hosting looks like, why it benefits your community, and then so this is just the generalized information followed by the event schedule on our assumptions. So the beginning of it would be you have chosen and registered for these events. You're set up there. You can look into recruiting a local ambassador, SciStarter ambassador to help you. That links out to our directory. So you can find one that might be nearby you or someone who's interested in a space topic who might be able to support you virtually even. You also list your event at scistarters.org/add events so we can include you in the map, right? And then all those event toolkits to make sure you have everything you need in advance of the event. Um, you can also train your staff if you'd like. That's an added tip at the bottom there. These events are 2 hours long, which we understand is long. So as long as you can be on there is amazing. If you want to be there the whole time, that's great. It's like kind of like a hackathon, just like working and listening to scientists chat. We'll have some guest visitors. We'll do would you rather questions, trivia questions, whatever it might look like. It'll be fun. And so it is a big group of, or it is a big chunk of time. So we do mention, like it's okay if you need to leave intermittently or you jump in later and jump in at random times. We just very much want you to double check that your Zoom settings are all good and that your audio works and everything. So if you try that a couple days in advance too, just do a test Zoom on your computer. That would be great. So you can make sure that you're not missing anything. Um, like your settings might be messy. Okay. If you are planning to do some kind of a gathering extra piece, so if you want to bring creative flair to it and have an event embedded with this Zoom live stream as a part of it, but not the whole thing, that may mean that you have refreshments ahead of time and you play a game of what is citizen science and you make guesses, some kind of encouraging way to get people involved beforehand. We recommend you join 10 minutes before, but you don't have to. So just join in when you can, but as long as it's right before, that means you'll catch everything, of course. And to double check your Zoom audio and internet connection. So we'll be doing a lot of work with like encouraging Q&A. So if you want to develop a process for having sticky notes on desks and then people write questions and pass it up to the front, or if you would like to have a verbal question asked or ask a question verbally, you can have someone come up and we'll lift you elevate you to panelist during the event, assuming we know who you are. So as long as you're noted as a satellite event that's registered with us, we'll ensure that you're able to elevate to panelist to be able to be seen to ask questions or say hello from the satellite event too. So if your folks like waving from far away in a camera, we are really looking forward to that. So hopefully we can get a few of you on camera too. And then afterward, we have those takeaways that I showed you, and we also have a post-event survey, which includes questions about your users. So I'm going to actually jump to that real fast. It looks like a normal survey, but I just wanted to show you all that there are some questions in here about participant outcomes. So I just wanted to recommend you look at it once before the event, so you can get a good gauge for your people. I'll be asking questions during the event to kind of pull for some of these answers of like, okay, how are we enjoying the event so far? And you can give us like a thumbs up, and it'll just be temperature checks throughout. So whatever you can do to prepare to know the answers to these questions in advance, that's great. Like we've had previous events where after the event closes, the event host will be like, okay, do you understand the science, the citizen science project? Like, did it make sense? No, not really, or like a little bit, not at all. Please help. So they can get a good idea of like how to answer these questions. Um, and then I did answer, this is newer if you've seen this form before. And so I'm hoping we can also learn a little bit more about like what the major benefits of these events are so we can do more of them. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna backtrack to my slides again, wherever they went. There they are. Okay, cool. All right. Aside from the resources for doing the actual event, we also have resources if you're not able to be a host. So if any of you are thinking to yourself, I'm signed up to be a host, but things are not coming together the way I want them to be, we don't want that to deter you from um, listening like Angie's recommending to dust and do laundry while listening. Sure. And we also want to make sure that you're still able to provide this type of programming to your community. And so we have passive programming materials like a newsletter blurb over here that's all about like just joining independently. We have a bookmark that has a QR code to sign up for all of them and the dates. And then we have a poster that does the same thing, just a little bit more detail. So if any of you are wanting to do both, you want to promote it writ large to your community, but you also have posters in your library, for example, for a specific event, that's great. But we want to make sure that everything you have multiple methods of engagement. All right. I've been talking rapid fire, so I'm gonna pause again and check if we have any questions. Feel free to unmute too and ask questions. I don't mind at all. How are we feeling? If you just want to share that you're confused, or if you do feel good, can you give me a thumbs up if you're good, the reaction thing, or a thumbs down if you're like, why are you talking so fast, lady? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks, Jim. Awesome. Okay, I see a bunch of thumbs up. Thank you all. Okay, cool. Oh, thanks, Andy. Awesome. Okay, so we're at our last 13-ish minutes. I wanted to be able to show you one of the projects. I'm a little worried about having time for that, but I'm still happy to do so. These are the critical things on the screen right now that are needed from you. So those two top ones is register for the Zoom events. You will not be able to join unless you're literally on Zoom with us. So please make sure you register on Zoom. And thank you to those of you who have already done so. Same thing with adding your event to SciStarter. If you are hosting an in-person event, please do add it. That is how we make our count for Citizen Science Month. So if you don't tell us via that, we will not include it within the count. And that's critical for us because we want to make sure we're seeing the general spread of Citizen Science Month. This is also the same for like Dark Sky Week activities. We have those coming into this count too because they'll be added to SciStarter. It's not just Act Science Connected. It's a lot across the country and the world. Those recommendations I listed underneath that are definitely very helpful. So I recommend you all do the trainings and you join the network and do what you need to do to prepare yourself. And that might mean emailing us to answer questions. If you can't find something, no answer or no questions are dumb. Like please just answer them or just send them to us and we'll answer them. I will need to review the, yeah, this is recorded. So if you're like, yeah, you do talk too fast, but I'm not confused yet. Don't worry, you'll be able to listen to the recording too on half speed if you'd like, or double speed, just to really go crazy. Okay, so I want to hear from you all too. Is there anything that anyone's burning to tell us? Like if there's any creative flair that someone has come up with, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great because on the Animal Spotathon day, everyone's gonna be on in cheetah print. That's my thing. That's, I should do that. I'll wear cheetah print for the animal one.
Well, I could put this out there.
Sure.
I've been using Chat GPT
Hmm.
to create like comic level that kids would like explanation for each of the projects.
Yes, and I've seen a bunch of them. They are great, folks. So if you want to take a look at those, they are awesome. You should join our
Yeah.
Facebook group.
Just remember, whatever you do create, since it is AI, validate. Make sure everything is
Yes,
correct.
especially links and QR codes. If it auto-populates links or QR codes, make sure they're real. Like
Yes,
yeah,
the QR codes I had to snip
insert.
out of a regular SciStarter and put it into PowerPoint, paste it
Mm.
in, and then
Mhm.
save it as a JPEG and it puts it there permanently.
Awesome. It's a good trick. Good trick. I'm loving these comments. Thank you, everyone. Um, Ball-faced hornet's nest in my backyard was a strange. Oh, very cool. You should absolutely report that to Journey North or yeah, I think Journey North would probably be the best or iNaturalist. That is very cool, Angie. I'm so excited for X Science Connected. This is from Veronica. You're making it so easy for us to host and participate. Yay! I would like to incorporate computer coding projects. Kathy, I think the we're going to talk a lot about AI and computer related stuff during the game night for Science One. So if you want to join that one in particular, we might be able to fill in some gaps for you. Yeah, cool. I've made some cool AI from snow pics. Cool, Angie. Like pictures of snow falling. I'm not quite sure what that would mean. Yes, okay. Awesome. Okay, if any others think of things that they'd like to share about how they're going to facilitate a creative flair to these events, feel free to share it. I'd love to even like post it on social media with your permission to just say like, look at this, what this group is doing. So feel free to literally email me any of this stuff too. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. It's just Emma at SciStarter. Emma at SciStarter.org. Ta-da! Oh, sorry, I missed that one from Alicia. Can I just check on what needs to be done to host a group? I registered to host the Earth Day one. Register for Zoom. Yep, check. Need to get all my participants to each register for an account, which they will each log into. Yes, you can have them do that in advance, but we will also facilitate that whole sign up process. So really the only things you need are to make sure you have a place for them to sit and you're logged into Zoom, or you were registered for the Zoom account and you've added that event to SciStarter. One note too, if any of you are thinking to yourself, like, I am hosting an event, but like it's a personal event, or like I'm hosting at my house, so it's invite only, for example, whatever it might be, that might be a little trickier. Or for a very particular community, you can specify in the how to join section of adding an event that it is a private event or invite only and XYZ. Like it's for the community of X. Email this person if you're interested, but you can keep it like a closed event. You don't have to have a registration link for them. Is there a target age range for participants? Great question, Brittany. There isn't exactly a target, but I will say that everything is easier for 13 and up, primarily because of the accounts. We do not like facilitate, we do not expect anyone lower or like below the age of 13 to create an account. Because of GDPR and all the other security reasons, we don't want children to be account holders. However, you can absolutely have younger kids be a part of this. It's just a little bit tougher for kids who are not well versed in computer like tech or computer skills just because it's we do want it to be real data, and so if they're at the cloud spotting on Mars one and just having trouble really focusing in on the topic and they're just not ready for looking at that kind of intense data, you just might want to be wary about which events they sign up for. So like Earth Day is a great one for young ones because that's probably the easiest one to do with young kids, and the game night for science is probably the easier as well. So the 22nd, yeah, the April 22nd event and the April 16th event are the easiest for younger. The one for transcribing, though, I'm hopeful we'll have a lot of retirees because who knows how to read cursive anymore? Because barely do. And we need cursive readers for that. Oh, good. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, please sign up for that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you know how to read cursive, join us for that one because we need some help. All right. I do have instructions for stall catchers if y'all want to check it out. We're 6 minutes out from the top, so I also want to make sure that we're um, covering our questions. Is there any questions about Citizen Science Month writ large too? Yeah, we have been promoting it to 55 and older communities, Jim. That is one of our goals. Under the event finder. Ooh, okay, here let's actually visit the event finder. Okay, so this is the project finder, which also includes events, by the way. But I often turn it off just because I'm able to find based on I want to find it based on the filters, and the filters don't work the same for events. To be continued, though, we're currently in redesigning of this to make it even easier. So you can hit add to SciStarter to create your event, or to add it to the thing. So I'm going to say add an event, and it's just a simple form. Please do add an image, by the way. If you don't add an image, it populates with the SciStarter logo, which we love to see. However, it's not very fun. So if you have an image, please do add one. It could be of like your location of the event, for example. And in this event finder, you can also look at it as a map. It doesn't determine dates on this, right? Because I'm looking at all dates. Okay. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Came in late. I did not look at the website, didn't see premium material directed to schools. Yeah, high school and junior high can absolutely participate. It's just not specified as like school-based things. However, we do have supplemental resources for each of these event toolkits that often is related to like education supplies or education materials. So Rachel, I can show you that in a minute if you're willing to stick around. Um, so we already have two. Oh, gotcha. Abdullah, the ambassador program, the only differentiation is an orientation and a specialized directory. So we absolutely love the fact that you have so many champions, and that's good. And having more champions means that when we're able to do international, that means we can push them all up to ambassador and really induct them. We're not feasibly able to do it international at this point in time. So please keep recommending people to be champions though, because it's essentially the same thing, just no directory. Um, okay, sorry, awesome. Okay, let me go back to the question real fast. Under the event finder, our library is not showing up. Okay, so my friend whose name is Denise. Okay. Um, Denise, do you know which event it's for? Because this might also be something I need to fix later. Okay, I'll answer a different question. Oh, the comment one. Okay, so this would be on the 29th. Oops, that's not the 29th. There we go. 29th to 29th again. Type of event, Access Science Connected. So if you submitted it, it should be labeled as an Access Science Connected event as well. And you're coming in from the which library? Doo-doo-doo. Okay, which library are you from? I recognize your name, so maybe I have seen it. Okay, Rochester. Yeah, I've definitely seen yours. Okay, hold on. If it's not showing up, that might be something I need to do because I have seen it, but I think it's been approved. So yeah, it's not on there. That is odd. Okay. Let me stop my screen share for a minute. So, actually, Roland, since you're online, would you mind checking if she's on that grants and the event listing and grant combo sheet? And I should just stop my recording at this point. Okay, I have an event that's, sorry, were you going to mention something, Roland? I thought someone might have unmuted. No, we're good. Okay. On it. Thank you. I have an event that is not actually going to be doing research at the event, but I'm teaching them about Globe Observer apps and a Citizen Science Tick app. Yes, that absolutely counts as an active science event. It's not Active Science Connected, right? But that does count. So if you are submitting that as an event on the Citizen Science Month page, for example. So I'm on citizensciencemonth.org. I click on report your acts. I am doing an event, so I'm going to report acts that I facilitated for many people. To make this even bigger, I specify that I'm team P. your country. Let's say you're in the US, my email, and then I describe. So taught or learned about globe observer and tick sit side. I have 25 or 30 people show up. Estimated amount of acts would be at least 30 for like signing up for one of the projects. If you would like to do an activity with them, you might also change that to like each person both downloaded an app and did an exercise with us. That means 60. So it is sort of subjective in some of these cases. Like if you're just teaching about citizen science, you can be a little subjective about how many acts. So it depends on the activities. So if you want like an opinion on like how it should be formatted, you can also send me like a list of like or just like a quick description of okay, we're doing this and this. How many acts should that qualify for? And I'm happy to make the number for you. And then you can list them all too. Like Emma G would be one, Jim W would be another. Uh, who else is on the call? Michael L, etc. And then you can specify which project. So we'd say Globe Observer Clouds in this case, maybe. Whatever it may be. Oh, and that one auto populates too, by the way. Clouds. Boop. And that was it. That's all you'd have to do. Okay. Oh, good. We might have found your event. Oh no, that's for a different person. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the recording because I think we've covered everything that the recording was expecting. Anyone on the recording listening to this, feel free to email me or the SciStarter team, info@scistarter.org. I will answer it. As well, you can also email me specifically, which is just emma@scistarter.org. And then I'm shifting my screen and I will talk to you all next time. Bye, recording.